Hi everybody. Today is a little tutorial on how to organize your work and find your work to make your life simpler. I bet that everybody listening to this, maybe all 5 of you or 10 of you, will have forgotten where your files were on your hard drive. After some amount of time has gone by, you forget where you put things. Or how about your hard drives are filling up, but you know you need to zip things, you know you need to archive things, but you don't know what to archive. You don't know where the big files are. And finally, something like somebody says to you 2 years down the line, hey, you did this work for me, and I need you to revisit it. And you may not remember where it is, or you might not even remember that you did it. And I had that happen to me recently. As good of a memory as I have, when you're working over years and you are producing lots of content, lots of analytic content, it becomes difficult to remember everything. So, few pointers today. What are the topics? Well, learning how to organize your work, learning how to recall where everything is, having a tool to help you do that, learning a little Alteryx batch macro uh, to do that, learning a little Tableau, some little tricks within there to help you. So let's get after it. Let's learn a few things today. Okay, so switching over to a different type of view. I do have a YouTube channel. Nobody ever pays attention to it. No one watches it, but that's fine. I put the stuff out there anyway because I need to remember the things that I do. So if you go to my YouTube channel, which is Kenneth Black, you can see that there is a video out there that I put up a year ago, and thank you to the 15 viewers who looked at it. 15. So one person per month. And this is how to organize your analytics work. So if you want a system that's been proven to work for me for decades, go listen to this video and find out how do I organize my work so that I can rapidly retrieve things in a structured way. So that's tip number 1, is going out to find that. Tip number 2 is, let's say that you're asked to find something, some work that you did, and you suddenly realize that you can't remember where it is. In fact, in my case here, looking at this table that's just rendered in Tableau, there's over 410,000 files that I have characterized as different types of files, and I'll explain what those are in a minute. Well, in fact, let's hop over there and take a look. Let's see what type of files that we are looking at. So, because this will help set the stage for you to understand what we're doing. So I wrote an Alteryx batch macro this weekend to scan through all of my hard drives. So we see that this highlighted block here, I have the path of the C drive, and then the D drive, and then the E drive, and then a network drive, a OneDrive. And I'm looking for a collection of files. I'm looking for zip files, CSV files, Tableau files, workbooks, hyper files, which are the columnar data format, high-speed columnar files for Tableau. We got TDEs, Tableau data extracts, Alteryx workflows, macros, data files, Calgary files, Excel, and Power BI files. So I want to capture the information about all of those files because that represents the majority of the analytics work that I do when I'm storing things locally. Now, this doesn't account for files I connect to on Hadoop, Greenplum, Teradata, Oracle, IBM DB2, whatever. Tons of other data out there, but this is just my local work that I produce that I'm in control of, and it's a quick way of finding these files. So what I do is I just basically set up that structure of what I want to search for, and then I replicate it from the C drive to the D to the E to the network drive. So we're searching 4 drives for a collection of 11 different file types, and that's what produces the data that we're going to look at in Tableau Workbook. So if we hop back there again to take a look at what do we have, well, we're looking at file sizes here based on file type. And in this particular example, we're looking at this first file is 65,000 megabytes or 65 gigabytes. So that's a big file, a lot of records in there, many tens of millions of records in there. So if I were to want to begin cleaning up my hard drive, for example, I might consider the elimination of these Calgary files. But let's get down to business. Let's say I want to find something related to, well, we see the word performance here. So this is performance of vehicles. So if we do performance as a search term, now this is limited to any files, Calgary files, Alteryx data files, YXDBs that have the word performance in them. Then we come further down, we see workflows, CSV files, Excel files, things that have the word performance in it. If I was interested in finding some more obscure thing, like I did some work on weather data. So we do weather. Well, there's some weather data things, or maybe climate. There's some climate things, or maybe some data I did in Australia, some work I did in Australia. I could find that quickly. So this allows me then just to highlight over the file and tells me where things are located. Now you notice the file path has a star in it. That means that that particular file is stored in more than one location. So let's go take a look, for example, at maybe Camaros. See the work that I did on Camaros. Okay, well, here's a bunch of files for Camaros, and I can highlight over one of them, and I could see that there's the full path to that particular file. I read that monthly driver history. I know exactly what that represents, and because I'm the one who created it, it's located on the E drive in that particular directory. I can quickly go get it, snap of the fingers, I've got what I want. So this is a beautiful way to quickly find what I'm looking for across my analytics files. And of course, the driver file for this can be configured any way you want. I mean, you might want to look for graphics files, you might want to look for JPEGs, or whatever it is you're interested in. You can quickly set this up and let this program run, let this Alteryx workflow run to capture the essence of what you're looking for in the places that you're looking for it. Now, let's see how that works. Let's take a look at the Alteryx batch macro. It's pretty simple. We have the driver file, as I just showed you, and this is what we have in that Excel sheet. This is the data that we're going to look for. So we have a run it, means if it's one, go ahead and pass it into the batch file. The path, file extension, and the file type. Just this is a note to myself of what are these files. And this grouping of 11 is just replicated for each of the hard drives that I'm interested in searching. So going back to this then, here's a batch file. The batch file executes and kicks the data back out in a union, and some additional parsing to clean it up a little bit is completed. But let's take a look inside this batch file. It's very simple. We've got three parameters to control the path, the file extension, and the file type. So that's all this is. A directory tool is going through and whipping through these with a group by of the drive. So the key thing is in the directory tool, this is what's being changed, this is what's being changed, and then the main thing is make sure it includes subdirectories is turned on, because I'm putting in the root path, the C drive, and it's going to sweep down through every single directory on a drive. As we know in Windows machines, there's a lot of directories. So the thing about this is you don't want to run this all the time, because this simple little innocuous file here, looking for 11 different types of files, produced 576,000 records of files that it found that it matched, and it took 4 hours to run. So this is very powerful technology, very powerful tool to make this easier for you. So then you have a Tableau database or Tableau workbook. You can go find what you're looking for quickly. And the main thing is you can update this whenever you want. You can change it, modify it, let it run over the weekend. It'll let it run at night. No big deal. And you'll have instant access to your files. So this is the way you can use this then to help you plan for archiving your drive, for elimination of things you don't want anymore. lots of different benefits. I mean, going back into Tableau, there's all kinds of things you can learn from this analysis. You could not only do a file search, and by the way, how's this file search being done? How's this operating? Well, you notice that I'm typing something in a file name search box here, the word Camaro, and anything with file name having Camaro pops up. So quickly, there's a parameter, and if we just edit that parameter, it's just a string. And then I have a file name search filter up here. So if we just look at that file name search filter, we edit that. What do we find? It's just if, so I cast whatever you're searching for, the file name search term, cast that to lower, look for that lower in the file name. And so lowercase, whatever the file names are, to be able to get that match. And if it contains it, if it's true, then show it. So that's how you do a quick search, a general search across a field. I also have an article about multi-field searching. If you're interested in that, you could search that up on datablends.us. It's a very popular article. Many people like that one. So this is how it's done. There's lots of things you can learn, like the count of files. You can see more than 500,000 Alteryx data files, YXDBs, thousands of files in Alteryx workflows, thousands of macros, maybe not thousands of macros, almost 1,000 macros, packaged Tableau workbooks, Calgary data files. Then you can take a look at the size of the files. Where's the data being stored? Well, 2.3 million megabytes, that's 2.3 terabytes of data being stored in YXDB, 1.1 terabytes of Calgary files, hyper files. This gives you an idea of the file sizes. You can look at your time series history of how you're producing these. This is quarterly production of these different file types. So there's lots of things you can do, lots of creativity you can unleash with this approach. And this is how Alteryx and Tableau can be used together to really help you organize and manage your digital files. So thanks for listening. And until next time, rock on.